A conspiracy of fact and fiction. The making of the Da Vinci Code was a journey as mysterious as the plot itself. While audiences were captivated by the on-screen chase for the Holy Grail, a different kind of conspiracy was unfolding behind the camera. The film's production was not just a series of takes and cuts, it was a high-stakes pilgrimage into the heart of historical controversy, blurring the lines between cinematic art and real-world intrigue. From clandestine operations to bizarre casting calls and a chilling encounter with a silent ghost, the true story of this film is as compelling as any ancient secret. Here are 15 of the weirdest facts about the making of a cinematic masterpiece that dared to challenge everything we know. Weird facts about the Da Vinci Code, a secret society of set designers. When the Louvre Museum denied permission for nighttime filming, the production didn't give up. Instead, they built a secret, full-scale 360-degree replica of the Grand Gallery at Pinewood Studios. The designers worked in a state of paranoid secrecy, operating in the dead of night to avoid prying eyes. They meticulously copied hundreds of paintings and sculptures, turning the set into a ghost museum, a perfect yet utterly fake Louvre that only the cast and crew were ever allowed to see. The unconventional hair of a hero. In a world of perfectly sculpted Hollywood heroes, Tom Hanks's slightly shaggy, longer haircut for Robert Langdon was a deliberate choice. It was a subtle act of subversion, designed to make him look more like a brilliant academic who spends his days buried in ancient texts rather than a slick action hero. The Langdon hair became a defining characteristic, a bold visual cue that signaled his power came from his mind, not his appearance. The bizarre consultation with the enemy. The film's portrayal of Opus Dei as a sinister, violent sect drew fiery condemnation from the real-life Catholic organization. In a surreal twist, the filmmakers hired a member of Opus Dei as a consultant. This individual was tasked with ensuring the group's rituals and practices were accurately represented. It was an extraordinary and almost theatrical collaboration. A wolf advising on the portrayal of the wolf. The Vatican's unprecedented rebuke. The condemnation from the Vatican reached a fever pitch before the film's release. In a move that sent shockwaves through the global media, the Holy See announced it would not hold a press conference for the film's premiere, a tradition for many major movies. This public rebuke from the highest echelons of the Church was a bizarre form of reverse psychology. It acted as a massive publicity boost, a real-world endorsement of the film's controversial power. The ghostly presence of the silent stuntman. A particularly eerie detail concerns the character of Silas, the albino monk. Paul Bettany's performance was already unsettling, but his stunt double added another layer of weirdness. The stuntman, a professional martial artist, refused to speak on set, communicating entirely through gestures and written notes. He wasn't mute. It was a deliberate choice to maintain the character's unsettling and mysterious aura, making him a chilling, silent shadow moving through the production. A high-tech Mona Lisa heist. You can't just borrow the world's most famous painting. For the crucial scene featuring the Mona Lisa, the production team orchestrated a secret operation. They used a high-resolution, digitally printed replica that was so meticulously crafted it fooled some of the cast and crew. The replica was an exact copy down to the tiniest brushstroke and the subtle cracks in the aging paint. This covert Mona Lisa swap was a bizarre but necessary piece of cinematic magic. The French government's unholy alliance. While the Vatican was in an uproar, the French government was surprisingly welcoming, opening its doors to the production. They granted the filmmakers an incredibly rare privilege, permission to film in iconic and normally off-limits locations like the Louvre and the Château de Villette. It's believed the French government saw the film as a massive tourism opportunity, a bizarre political calculation that put economic gain above religious protest. An on-set cryptic message, to immerse the cast and crew in the film's world of puzzles and codes. Director Ron Howard engaged in a strange habit. He would occasionally leave obscure, real-life cryptic messages and puzzles around the set for the crew to find and solve. These weren't part of the script. They were his own personal challenges, meant to get everyone into the mindset of a high-stakes, intellectual chase. The unscripted religious debate. The film's themes of faith, history, and conspiracy led to an almost continuous, unscripted religious debate on set. Actors and crew members, regardless of their own beliefs, would often get into deep conversations during breaks, discussing the historical accuracy of the Gnostic Gospels and the role of Mary Magdalene. The film became a catalyst for intense, personal, and philosophical discussions, transforming the set into a bizarre and intellectually charged arena of ideas. The Secret Langdon Lectures. Before filming began, Tom Hanks was given a series of secret lectures by art historians and religious scholars. These weren't general briefings, but highly specific, private sessions on topics like the history of Leonardo da Vinci, the symbolism of the Holy Grail, and the true meaning behind ancient pagan rites. It was a bizarre and intense crash course, designed to make him not just an actor playing a symbologist, but a convincing one. The albino monk's terrifying audition. The casting process for the role of Silas was as strange and intense as the character himself. Director Ron Howard specifically sought out an actor with an unsettling quality. He reportedly put the actors through a series of unusual tests, asking them to perform in silence and to convey extreme emotions without a single word. This bizarre audition process was designed to find someone who could truly embody the character's terrifying and otherworldly presence. The real-life code to crack. In a bizarre real-life twist, the film's official website and promotional materials contained a number of hidden codes and ciphers. Fans of the book were challenged to solve these riddles to unlock special content and behind-the-scenes information. It was an ingenious marketing ploy that blurred the line between the film's fiction and the reality of its promotion, making the audience part of the experience. The unwanted star power. The cast of the film was a who's who of A-list talent, but what's weird is that some of the biggest stars were not the first choices. The role of Robert Langdon was reportedly offered to Russell Crowe and Bill Paxton before Tom Hanks. The production struggled to find actors willing to take on the controversial roles, with some reportedly turning them down due to the film's religious themes. The Lost Leonardo Clues. The film's climax is set at Rosslyn Chapel in Scotland, a location steeped in its own set of myths and mysteries. In a strange case of life imitating art during the filming, the production crew reportedly stumbled upon a number of previously undocumented carvings and symbols that had been hidden from view for centuries. These were not part of the film's plot, but they added to the weird, almost supernatural aura of the location. The bizarre Vatican protest. Before the film's release, an actual protest was organized by a group of devout Catholics in Rome. The protesters gathered in a square, dressed in black, holding signs that read, "Stop the Blasphemy." While protests are not unusual, this one was unique in its solemnity and religious fervor. The protesters knelt and prayed in silence for hours, a bizarre and very public display of their outrage. Outro, the legacy of a secret, from the whispered secrets of a covert set to the silent protests of a furious Vatican, the making of the day. Vinci Code was a saga as dramatic and mysterious as the story it told. These strange and captivating details reveal a film that was not merely a work of fiction, but a real-life puzzle, a cultural lightning rod that left a trail of bizarre and unforgettable anecdotes in its wake. It was a film that dared to ask questions, and in doing so, it created its own hidden history, one that is as compelling as the Holy Grail itself.